amazing and inspiring, and it is time for our next awards.
This 2015 Golden Heart Award winner says she's glad she bought 2 dresses for last year's ceremony since she gets to wear the other one tonight. Presenting the Golden Heart for Best Paranormal Romance, please welcome the author of the book Demons Don't, Jean Oates Estridge.
The Golden Heart finalists for Paranormal Romance are Better Dead by Pamela Kopfer, Constant Craving by Carrie W. Cole, Don't Call Me Cupcake by Tara Sheets, Kissed at Midnight by Ainsley Winter, The Murr Chronicles, A Duty Too Far by Kate Ramirez, Taxing Courtship by J.C. Jarvis, Wolf, Rise of the Valdir by Allison McLean, and the Golden Heart for Best Paranormal Romance goes to Don't Call Me Cupcake by Tara Sheets.
This is amazing. I'd like to first thank RWA and the Golden Heart judges for this amazing honor. Really, the Golden Heart Mermaid class of 2016, the Lucky 13s and the Dragonflies, I love you guys. You have been so supportive, and you prove to me every day that this dream can happen. Thank you to the wonderful people at my Greater Seattle RWA chapter, and to the following teachers and mentors who have inspired me to keep writing and to never stop learning. I'd like to thank Pam Binder, Jackie Sullivan, Lisa Stonehart, Megan Records, and Margie Lawson, and especially my husband Brandon and my daughter Maya, who I know are at home watching. We are the power of 3. Last, I need to thank my mom, who is not here anymore, but she always encouraged me to write fearlessly and to follow my heart. So thank you so much.
Here to present the Rita for Best Paranormal Romance is an author who has worked as a lawyer, a librarian, a candy factory general hand, a bank temp, and an English teacher. While some may call that inconsistency, she calls it grist for the writer's mill. Please welcome USA Today and New York Times best-selling author, Nalini Singh.
The Rita finalists for Paranormal Romance are Midnight's Kiss by Thea Harrison, Penguin Random House, Berkeley sensation, Cindy Huang, editor. Must Love Chainmail by Angela Quarles, self-published, Aaron Newman and Jessa Slade, editors. Possessed by a Wolf by Sharon Ashwood, Harlequin Nocturne, and Leslie Tuttle, editor. The Shattered Court by M.J. Scott. Penguin Random House, N.A.L. Rock, Jessica Wade, editor. Soulbound by Kristen Callahan. Grand Central Publishing, Forever, Alex Logan, editor. Stars of Fortune by Nora Roberts. Penguin Random House, Berkeley, Leslie Geldman, editor. Viking Warrior Rising by Asa Maria Bradley. Sourcebooks Casablanca, Kat Klein, editor. And the Rita for the best paranormal romance goes to Must Love Chainmail by Angela Quarles.
I didn't expect to be up here. I wasn't even nervous sitting at the table because I'm like, no. I only wrote down some bullet points just earlier this afternoon, just in case. I want to thank my editors, Justice Slade and Aaron Newman. Jess is sitting at the table with me. Thank you so much. My best writing buddy, Jamie Gold. I'm sure you guys know of her with the beat sheets. And she's read so many drafts of mine, and she's sitting with me too, and I want to thank her so much for all the tremendous help she's given me. My mom, my brother, and my extended family for their love and support and their belief in me. My beta readers, besides Jamie, I want to thank Kate Warren, Shayla Patel, Alice Keys, Buffy Armstrong, Celia Breslin, see, I need a lot of help. A.F. Derry, Mary Farmer, Megan Grimes, Megan Holler, Karen Kirby, Alex McLeod, Joseph Quarles, and Marlene Relia, who's also sitting with me. Special thanks to Jamie, Buffy, and Shayla for always being available whenever I needed to be talked back from the ledge. To the romance divas, you rock. To RWA, of course. To Margie Lawson. And to all the readers who took a chance on an unknown author, and last but not least, to all the indie authors out there, this is also for you, and for the time travel romance authors too. Thank you so much.
Well, must love chainmail? Well, who doesn't? I mean, and this was really amazing company that she was in tonight, and what a convenient shopping list for y'all. Congratulations, Angela. We do love chainmail.
Our next presenter is a former Rita finalist whose books have appeared on the Amazon Top 100 and the Barnes & Noble Top 10 list. The latest things going on in her writing life are a little avenging, a bit of intrigue, and some unexpected twists. Here to present the Rita Award for Best Erotic Romance, please welcome Linda Eicher.
The Rita finalists for Best Erotic Romance are Break Me Down by Ronnie Lauren, Penguin, Random House, Berkeley Intermix, Kate Seaver, editor. For Real, A Spire Story by Alexis Hall, Riptide Publishing, Sarah Lyons, editor. Say My Name by Jay Kenner. Valentine Banham Doe, Banham Books, Shauna Summers, editor. Sugar by Ceresia Glass. Penguin Random House, Cindy Wong, editor. Three Little Mistakes by Nikki Sloan. Self-published, Lori Whitwam, editor. And the Rita for Erotic Romance goes to For Real, A Spire Story by Alexis Hall.
please don't fall off. I'm not Alexis Hall. I'm Alexis's agent. Well, this was literally the last thing I expected. I tried to get out of writing a speech at all, but Courtney threatened to wear really ugly shoes if I didn't. And now look what's gone and happened. I'm honestly as surprised as you are, but hey, I hope you like the shoes. Right now, I'm in a bit of a tricky situation. Basically, what I'm doing is sitting at my computer writing an acceptance speech for an award I'm pretty sure I have no chance of winning, but talking as if I'd already won it. And it's kind of doing my head in. Worse, the most notable thing about my having won this award, which, if you're hearing this, I apparently have, is that it's either the first or the second time an LGBTQ+ novel has won a Rita. If it's the first, then I'm honored. If it's the second, then OMG, you guys, that's incredible. I believe passionately in the capacity of romance to support and empower people regardless of their sexuality. And it means so much to me that this community has chosen to grant an LGBTQ+ novel, or possibly two LGBTQ+ novels, one of its most prestigious awards. I've never been eligible for anything like this before, but I understand at this point it's customary to thank a bunch of people. Obviously, I'd like to thank my publisher, Riptide, and particularly my editor, Sarah Lyons, without whom I would be a whole lot worse at, doing writing and stuff. And then there's my amazing agent, Courtney Miller-Callahan, who is beautiful, charming, talented, and being forced to read all this out. Seriously, though, I basically couldn't do this without her, as evidenced by the fact she is literally giving my speech for me. And I know that sounds like a really short list, but I had to jump one way or the other. If I tried to name everybody who's ever supported me, been kind to me, or changed me for the better, then we'd all be here until the 2017 ceremony. But I am incredibly grateful to anybody who has spared me a moment of their time or taken a chance on my frankly quite weird body of work. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening.
On behalf of Riptide Publishing, thank you to RWA for this honor. Thank you to Alexis Hall, who gave me such an exquisite book to work with. Your writing is unlike anything else. There's a reason that it has the most real estate on my arms. My phone flipped. Thank you to those women back in the 1970s who wrote Kirk/Spock fan fiction. And found ways to share it with each other pre-internet. Thank you to the pioneers of digital publishing, who, as we know, were all in romance, many of whom were in queer romance and made it possible for readers to find what they were looking for. Thank you to all the authors and readers who know that queer people across the rainbow spectrum deserve our own happy endings too, and demand that they be written and published. And while all you brilliant writers out there can and do imagine and write anything with sensitivity and with truth, thank you to all the Own Voices authors, queer and trans, brown and black, who know that the right and opportunity to tell our stories and to have our voices heard is so, so important. Happy Pride, everybody. And thank you again.
History buffs were out in full force this week at one of the most watched events of our conference. New York Times bestselling historical author Sarah McLean has taken up her microphone to visit the Beau Monde and has an interview with that organization's president to update us on the happenings in the historical romance world. Important questions are sure to be asked.
I know I'd like to know how to find Craina Dune and become a Sassenach. Sarah?
Rocky, I'm here in historical Romancelandia reporting from the year 18... Normally our report would involve a disdainful duke or a rich rake caught in flagrante with a lace-cap spinster, but tonight things are of a different ilk. The young ladies of London are rioting. I just saw a carriage full of Bridgertons nearly run down a passel of Sinsters. Devil is unamused. Lady Charlotte, could you tell us what's happening? What's the lowdown?
The lowdown?
Yes, the scoop.
I don't understand.
Lady Charlotte, I just saw 2 Montgomerys, Amy Mallory and Georgina Anderson, headed to the docks. I'm getting news that Derek Craven's casino is in flames and the Marquis of Dane has just been shot. All that, and there are at least 3 widows losing their virginity just off camera. Eyes front, cameraman, it's not that kind of broadcast.
Such scandalous language. But if you must know, the problem is the dreadfully cold weather. The style is a low bodice, and one risks lung fever in these frigid temperatures.
Lung fever is a small price to pay for landing a tall, dark, and dangerous duke, though, don't you think?
I do not, Miss McLean.
Lady Charlotte, what is wrong with Almax?
Well, if you must know, there aren't enough men. We've decided to keep all scoundrels, rakes, and rogues from entering. We must protect the young ladies' delicate sensibilities.
And how's that going?
The young ladies don't care for it. They're asking for replacements. If they can't have one of the myriad aristocratic rogues rattling around London, they want others.
Others?
I've heard requests for Vikings, for knights in shining armor, for Tang Dynasty swordsmen, for pirates, even for Scotsmen.
In kilts?
Yes, and it gets worse than Scots.
Surely not. What could possibly be worse than a man in a kilt?
They're asking for Americans.
No.
Yes, Underground Railroad conductors, shipping magnates, gold prospectors, cowboys, tycoons.
That does sound dreadful.
I'm so happy you see why we need to get our message out. We cannot have unrefined heroes just marauding about.
Skirts for scoundrels. There you have it, Rocky. Historical Romancelandia is freezing. The necklines are low enough to tempt even the most disdainful of dukes, and the ladies, discerning, are rioting for rakes. All in all, it could be worse. Back to you.
Thank you, Sarah. I hope you find that duke. And now we return to our award ceremony.
As a USA Today best-selling author of more than 30 novels specializing in 19th century African American life, she admits to having a soft spot for cowboys and Jon Snow. Here to present the Rita for Historical Romance short, please welcome this year's keynote speaker, Beverly Jenkins.
The Rita finalists for Historical Romance short are Falling into Bed with a Duke by Lorraine Heath, HarperCollins, Avon Books, May Chen editor. It Started with a Scandal by Julianne Long, HarperCollins, Avon Books, May Chen editor. Say Yes to the Marquess by Tessa Dare, HarperCollins, Avon Books, Tessa Woodward, editor. Secrets of a Scandalous Heiress by Teresa Romaine. Source Books, Casablanca, Deb Worksman, editor. The Secrets of Sir Richard Kenworthy by Julia Quinn. HarperCollins, Avon Books, Lissa Kirsch, editor. Sweetest Scoundrel by Elizabeth Hoyt. Grand Central Publishing, Amy Pierpoint, editor. And the Rita for Historical Romance short goes to a It started with a scandal. Julie Ann Long.
That was a surreal walk. I'm astounded. And as I'm walking up there, I'm like, I bet I can use this in a book. That out-of-body experience. But I just want to thank RWA. I really didn't think this was going to happen, so I'm another one of the bullet point people. My brilliant publisher, Avon, they're really just remarkable at what they do. My fabulous and talented editor, Mei Chen. People like PJ Osdenmore and Jane Garoletter and every blogger out there who's ever shared the love of romance with their friends, or tweeted about my books, or posted on Facebook. You are the best. You are the lifeblood of this community. Excuse me. The generosity of people like Julia Quinn, who has shared her love of my books, Susan Anderson, and Jane Ann Krentz. My amazing agent, Steve Axelrod. And I guess that's it. Thank you so much, everyone.
This is a hard industry, and sometimes because it's a business, but at the end of the day, I feel I'm like one of the luckiest people on this planet because I'm the first person that gets to read a Julie Ann Long book before all of y'all. And I never take that for granted. Her books move me, they make me laugh. I have so many feels when I read her books, and this is why I do what I do, I read what I read. I adore romance novels, and I adore Julie Ann Long's books, and I adore her as a person. She brings so much joy when I'm working on her books. Is she doing something weird behind me? So on behalf of Avon Books, HarperCollins, thank you so much, RWA, for this incredible honor.
Our next presenter is a 3-time Rita finalist and a New York Times best-selling author whose liberal use of em-dashes and semicolons makes her the terror of copy editors the world around. Her industry forecast? And they lived happily ever after with BookBub ads for everyone. To present the Golden Heart Award for Best Inspirational Romance, please welcome Courtney Milan.
The Golden Heart finalists for Inspirational Romance are For the Love of Termites by Kimberly McCarran, One More Breath by Pamela Koffler, and the Golden Heart for Best Inspirational Romance goes to For the Love of Termites by Kimberly McCarran.
They said to write a speech, and so I didn't do that. And because I didn't think I would be up here, but unlike Meg, I decided to keep my shoes on. This book was something that has been in my head for a really long time, and my agent would always ask me, how are you doing with your revisions? And so I hid from her, and I decided that I was going to write this book. And so I started for Nano this year on November 1st, and I finished on the 11th. And it was just something that spoke to me in my heart, and I had to do it. So sorry, Michelle Grakowski, for not listening to you to do the revisions, but yay, I'm here. So I wanted to thank some of my groups, the Unsinkables from 2010, and the Luckies, and the Dreamweavers, and the Dragonflies, and my group this year, the Mermaids, and some of my young adult groups, the Margaritas, and the Savvy Sevens, and the Dauntless. And I wanted to thank, well, first of all, my first year here, I didn't know anybody in 2010. I came just with a friend, and the only person I reached out 2 months after the Golden Hearts were, the finalists were announced, and I didn't know anything about loops, I didn't know anything about chapters, and so I reached out to Vanessa Barneveld in Australia, because she was the only one I could find online at the time. And she said, why aren't you on the loop? And I said, what loop is that? So, and when I came here, and everybody would start yelling from different corners of the room, and I remember saying to somebody, how do they know all these people? And they said, well, those are their chapters. I said, I gotta get me one of those. And so I happened to get the very best chapter, and I got WRW. And they, being a part of that chapter really changed my life. It allowed me to meet a lot of my very best friends, and part of those are the Waterworld Mermaids, so a special shout out to you guys. And I guess I should thank my husband, even though he called me a fluke when I didn't final again in 11 and 12. I'll still thank him, so thanks, Hossein, for sticking by me. And for my 5 kids, Megan, Caitlin, Donovan, Kian, and Shannon. Did I do 5? Yeah, I think I did. For eating a lot of cereal, and you really believe that that was a good treat. So I appreciate that. But thank you very much.
Our next presenter was recently invited to a science fiction convention, which meant wearing a corset for 2 days. But meeting her readers was worth it. To present the Rita for inspirational romance is Rita winner Adina Simft.
The Rita finalists for inspirational romance are A Love Like Ours by Becky Wade, Baker Publishing Group, Bethany House, Charlene Patterson and Rayla Schoenher, editors. Mistletoe Justice by Carol J. Post, Harlequin. Love-Inspired Suspense, Rachel Burkott, editor. The Mountain Midwife by Lori Alice Eakes. HarperCollins Zondervan, Becky Philpott, editor. A Noble Masquerade by Christiane Hunter. Baker Publishing Group, Bethany House, Rayla Schoenher, editor. The Rescued by Marta Perry. Penguin Random House, Berkeley, Ellen Edwards, editor. And the Rita for Best Inspirational Romance goes to A Noble Masquerade by Christiane Hunter.
She's pretty. Okay, imposter syndrome really kicking up here, y'all. So 2 years ago, I was sitting in a lake house when this book won a Golden Heart. And I have to tell you, this is much more nerve-wracking being in the room. And I kind of wish these awards, they came with little ones that you could like pull off and give to all the people who helped you win it, but they didn't, so the speech is going to have to be enough thank you because the lady's going home with me. First, I'd like to thank Jesus for grace and guidance in my life, to my husband and my kids who were unfailingly supportive and willing to eat a whole lot of frozen pizza. To my wonderful and amazing editing team at Bethany House, to the magical people who create really beautiful covers with Photoshop that I cannot ever imagine having the skills to do. Just all the people at Bethany House made this book an amazing thing, and I get to put my name on the cover, which is pretty cool, and their names have to go on the inside. And finally, I would like to thank all of my writing family, my Dreamweavers, and especially my local RWA, my Georgia Romance Writer family, who I know is in this room. Without you guys, I would still think GMC was a type of car. And so, thank you. Everyone who's judged, everyone who has entered, everyone who has taught a workshop, everyone who's done everything, thank you so much. This is truly an incredible, incredible honor. Thank you.
I had the privilege of judging the Golden Heart 2 years ago and had a chance to read Christy's entry, and it was exactly what I was looking for at that point. So it's been a privilege and an honor to work with her. She is delightful to work with, very hardworking and very gracious, and I'm just so happy to see her get this recognition. Thank you.
Remember that survey statistic that RWA members think this is a better time to be a writer than 10 years ago? Perhaps that's because 10 years ago, there was an unwritten no sports heroes rule. Remember that? One woman, a rule breaker if there ever was one, gave us golfers and a football team we know and love called the Chicago Stars. That's right. Sports romance has grown wildly in the last decade. So here is Susan Elizabeth Phillips, the godmother of the sports romance, with today's HEA Countdown.
Thanks, Rocky. And it's a great night here in Romancelandia. I'm reporting to you via satellite from the WRWA Sports Center, where the talented women and men of our community just keep going for the gold all the time. My own beloved Chicago Stars are here, and boy, are they shining. But they're not alone. Coach J.C. Burton competes in every sport, from football to basketball to surfing to hockey, and she makes it look easy. Speaking of pucks, Rachel Gibson's Never Say Die Chinooks keep burning up the ice. And up-and-comers Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen have shown a real flair for moving raw college grunts right into the NHL. Even the mascots are in to win it. I spy a familiar-looking beaver waving at me. The romance world has brought out the best teams and the strongest players. Gina Maxwell's here with her MMA fighters, and Regina Hart and her Brooklyn Monarchs. And Pacific Heat team owner Jill Shalvis confirms that she sees more bats, more balls, and more championships on the way. Gifted athletes as far as the eye can see, Rocky. And that's a yard line I can get behind, because love is a game best played hard. Whether we're talking goals or touchdowns or baskets or points, when it comes to great teams, our genre has got plenty of games, but no competition. An open heart is always the MVP. And now, over to you, Rocky.
Thank you, Susan. There is no doubt that love wins. Now let's move to our next award.
This New York Times best-selling author's favorite reader interaction of all times was a woman who wrote, "Love your books, but you are using too many prime numbers in them. Please stop." Here to present the Golden Heart for short contemporary romance is Rita winner Alyssa Day.
The finalists for the Golden Heart for short contemporary romance are Back in the Saddle by Susan Breeden, Breaking Her Rules by Sarah Hall, In the Fast Lane by Evie Anderson, Rescuing Riley by Carrie Nichols, and the Golden Heart for Best Short Contemporary Romance goes to Rescuing Riley by Carrie Nichols.
Wow. First, I want to thank RWA and the Golden Heart judges and all the volunteers. My agent, Jill Marshall. It was a long 18-month courtship, but she was patient as I tried to struggle to figure out how to plot. I want to thank my critique partner, Mia Kay, who talked me off the ledge more times than I can count and always came through when I got stuck. I also want to thank GRW and all the supporters and wonderful authors, Tanya Michaels, Sally Kilpatrick, Susan Carlisle, Sherry Morgan, and Kim Turner. You ladies are the bomb. And a special thanks to my roommate, Tanya Wright, who chopped off the extra inches off this dress last night, so I didn't have to wear stilts to accept this award. Thank you.
Our next presenter is a former U.S. Army officer and roller coaster fanatic who says her Rita Award is the one thing in her house that she doesn't mind dusting. Please welcome Carol Carson.
The finalists for the Rita for Contemporary Romance Short are A Bramble House Christmas by C.J. Carmichael, Thule Publishing, Sinclair Sawney, editor, Cardo Bravo's Christmas Bride by Christine Rimmer, Harlequin Special Edition, Gail Chasen, editor, Chance of a Lifetime by Marissa Clark, Entangled Publishing, Lovestruck, Liz Pelletier, editor, Heated Moments by Phyllis Bourne, Harlequin Kamani Romance, Glenda Howard, editor, His Lost and Found Bride by Scarlett Wilson, Harlequin Mills and Boone Romance, Carly Byrne, editor, The Nanny Plan by Sarah M. Anderson, Harlequin Desire, Stacy Boyd, editor, One Night with Her Bachelor by Kat Latham, Thule Publishing, Montana-born books, Sinclair Sawney, editor, The Prince She Never Forgot by Scarlett Wilson, Harlequin Mills and Boone Romance, Carly Byrne, editor, Tempting the Night by Heidi Rice, Thule Publishing, Kelly Hunter, editor, Three Nights Before Christmas by Kat Latham, Thule Publishing. Sinclair Sawney, editor. And the Rita for the best contemporary romance short goes to The Nanny Plan by Sarah M. Anderson.
Hi. Everybody who told me that because of the unbearable shoe drama that I was guaranteed to win, you now get to say you were right. I also wrote a speech and left it in my room. So we're reading off of bullet points from the phone. I would like to thank my husband, Jason, who makes a tux look damn good. He is the one in whom my soul delights. I would like to thank Stacy. Oh my God. I would not be here without Stacy, as well as the Desire team, Charles, who is here, and Tara, who, you know, next time, honey. I would like to thank the Desirable team, and especially Jules and Andrea. You guys are going to see this sometime tomorrow, I'm sure. But I'd like to thank Mel Jolly, Author RX. Her tagline is keeping authors out of the loony bin. My God, she's earned it. I'd like to thank Jill Marshall for teaching me a lot about writing a Harlequin Desire. The Chicago North RWA is my chapter away from home, especially Melanie and Aaron and Blythe Gifford, who was nice to me when I walked in off of the street and didn't know what I was doing. So love you, Blythe. I'd like to thank my mom and dad, who made sure that I had more than I could read, and then when I read it all, they gave me some more after that. They will also be watching this in the morning. I would like to thank my son, who has finally begun to grasp the concept that the office is a place of quiet contemplation. If you're not quiet, you have to leave. God bless his adorable little heart. I have two things I want to end on. I would like to also especially thank Maggie Dunn, who runs the Lakota Children's Enrichment Project. She is an amazing young woman. She was named one of the Glamour Top 10 Upcoming Women of the Year some years ago, and she got a large cardboard check for $10,000. Sir Richard Branson, he showed up to give a talk about philanthropy at her college, and she snuck her large cardboard check into the session, held it up over her head when it was her turn to ask a question, and challenged him to meet the donation. And then very kindly let me use that. It was a great meet cute. She did not marry Sir Richard. But the large cardboard check was amazing. And I also want to thank Harlequin, because when this book came out, they were running the More Than Words campaign, and I nominated Maggie Dunn and the Lakota Children's Enrichment Program for the More Than Words campaign, and Harlequin gave the Lakota Children's Enrichment Program $15,000. So that is a lot of school meals and backpacks and school supplies for children that are in some of the poorest counties in this country. And that is something that we can do as romance authors. It's important that we bring happiness and hope to the people that read our books, and I never want anyone in this room to discount that, but we can also mobilize that hope. We can do more than just hold it in our hearts. We can take that hope and encouragement and spread it out around us and help those other people who may not see the hope find it in their lives as well. And I want each and every one of you to work on that, to spread that love that we feel when we find that happiness. And finally, I want to end with the quote from one of the most important celebrities who has shaped my worldview, Kermit the Frog. And I want each and every one of you, especially y'all in the back, this is your first conference and you think, I'd like to win a shiny award sometimes. So did I. But I want you to remember that life's like a movie. You write your own ending. You keep believing and you keep pretending because you've done just what you set out to do. So here's to the lovers, the dreamers, and to you. Thank you.
Sarah's stories not only make me laugh and cry and feel like I'm falling in love, they make me think, and somehow she fits it into 50,000 words, amazingly. And she is one of the most hardworking, creative, passionate people that I know, and she's an absolute joy to work with. So on behalf of Harlequin, thank you for recognizing her for this award. Thank you.
Our next presenter lives in the Sierras, where she's surrounded by quirky characters and massive bears. The quirky characters might or might not resemble characters in her books, while the bears help her lose weight by making her run really fast. Please welcome two-time Rita winner, Jill Shalvis.
The Rita finalists for Contemporary Romance Mid-Length are A Cold Creek Christmas Story by Ray Ann Fain, Harlequin's Special Edition, Gail Chasen, editor, Dances Under the Harvest Moon by Joanne Rock, Harlequin's Super Romance, Adrienne McIntosh, editor, Falling for Mr. Wrong by Lizzie Shane, self-published, Christian Anders, editor, Hymn by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy, self-published, Edie Danford, editor, Just Say Yes by Elizabeth Haley, Penguin Random House, NAL, Laura Fazio, editor, Love After All by J.C. Burton, Penguin Random House, Berkeley, Kate Seaver, editor, The Marriage Contract by Katie Robert, Grand Central Publishing Forever, Leah Holtenschmidt, editor, Not a Fairy Tale by Romy Zomer, Harper Collins, Harper Impulse, Charlotte Ledger, editor, Once Pure by C.C. Robson, Penguin Random House, Love Sweat, Shu Grimshaw, editor, Romancing Miss Right by Lizzie Shane, self-published, Christian Anders, editor. And the Rita for Best Contemporary Romance Mid-Length goes to Hymn by Serena Bowen and Elle Kennedy.
This on their behalf. Serena says, "This book has brought me nothing but joy. I'm proud of the story itself and stunned by its success, but the most valuable thing Him has given me is one of my most cherished friendships. Thank you, Elle Kennedy." Elle says, "Well, Serena just took the words out of my mouth. I'm so proud of this book, and I'm eternally grateful for the friendship it gave me. Thank you, Serena Bowen, and thank you, readers, for loving our boys. Thank you, RWA, for the honor."
We can't close this newscast without a weather report delivered by an incredibly perky blonde who can't even spell meteorology, but looks darn good in a slicker. Never one to shy from a challenge, we've sent Kristen Painter to the heart of Florida, where she is keeping an eye on a Category 5 hurricane. Kristen, what's happening in the weather in our romance world tonight?
Where the National Weather Service has predicted a Cat 5 storm to make landfall at any moment. But while we wait to get washed away by wind gusts and flattened by falling palm trees, let me tell you what's going on around the country. There's lots of weather. The Virgin River has overflowed into Cedar Cove, blocking all boats in Lucky Harbor. Meanwhile, a heat wave in Fool's Gold has caused residents to cool off in Mustang Creek and seek protection in Shelter Bay. But that's not all. Global warming is hitting hard as temperatures rise faster than a hero in tight jeans. Things are hot and sweaty in Ardent Springs, Sweetwater Springs, Blueberry Springs, and of course, Sultry Springs. But nothing is too hot in Lancaster County, we promise. Our romance creeks, too, are at dangerous levels of testosterone, and we've seen increased gambling in Chance Creek, drunken brawls in Whiskey Creek, and some nasty cuts in Briar Creek. Coastal flooding threatens all double dogs on Dare Island, forcing them to find Sanctuary Island and eat fruit in Blueberry Cove. There are reports of trouble in Harmony, sunshine in Christmas, and some futures at stake in Destiny. Not to mention a whole lot of insanity in crazy Texas. Things look good in Blessing and downright sinful in Carnal, Colorado. So welcome to Temptation. It's noisy in Thunder Point, dark in Midnight Bay, very slow in Turtle Cove, and incredibly spooky in Nocturne Falls. And you know, I can't really remember what's happening on Forgotten Island. But as we wait for our storm, there's nothing here yet. Maybe we're not going to get any rain. Well, so much for that. This is Kristen Painter reporting for WRWA from Barefoot Bay. I'm out.
You stay safe out there, Kristen. It looks extremely dangerous. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the final award of the evening. And that means just one more acceptance speech and we can go to the bar and take our Spanx off. Not at the same time. We have a very special presenter for this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Nora Roberts.
Good evening. The best first book, Rita category. Apparently I said something. And I had no idea. I sent this in, so I probably didn't write this. We all started writing with a spark that caught fire, a book that wouldn't let us go. The Rita's finished with the Best First Book Award because in romance, we all know that the best endings are inevitably the beginning of something wonderful. The Rita's finalists for Best First Book are Altered by Marnie Blake, Entangled Publishing, Embrace, Candace Havens, editor. Forget Tomorrow by Pintip Dunn. Entangled Publishing, teen, Liz Pelletier, editor. Night Hush by Leslie Jones. HarperCollins, Witness Impulse, Nicole Fisher, editor. No Better Man by Sarah Richardson. Grand Central Publishing, Forever. Mega Perek, editor. A Noble Masquerade by Christy Ann Hunter. Baker Publishing Group, Bethany House. Rayla Schoner, editor. Pairing Off by Elizabeth Harmon, Harlequin Carina Press. Carrie Buckley, editor. The Strongest Steel by Scarlett Cole. St. Martin's Press, Elizabeth Poteet, editor. Viking Warrior Rising by Asa Marie Bradley. Source Books, Casablanca, Kat Klein, editor. And the Rita for Best First Book goes to Forget Tomorrow by Pintip Dunn.
Unlike Meg, I did leave on my shoes, but I put on my flats instead of the heels. I have no doubt that I wouldn't be standing here today if it weren't for my brilliant publisher and editor, Liz Pelletier. So I want to say thank you, Liz, from the bottom of my heart, for believing in this book and for making my dreams come true. Thank you to my wonderful agent, Beth Miller, who has been by my side since 2011 when I first wrote Forget Tomorrow. She plucked this book out of a writing contest, and not once has her belief in me wavered. Thank you to RWA, the board, and the wonderful judges for making this event possible. To my friends, critique partners, beta readers, and writing groups, thank you. I couldn't have done this without you, and I wouldn't want to. I love all of you. I've always said that I had the best family in the world, and this was never more clear to me than when my book published last year. Among them, I think they've bought more of my books than a small bookstore. And I know that they're at home watching today. Their love for me blows me away on a daily basis, and I love you all. And finally, to Antoine, and to my 3 beautiful children. You have taught me the meaning of true love, and because of you, I have finally found my place and purpose in this world. Thank you.
Pintip is so unbelievably talented, and I have no doubt this is the first of many Ritas to come. And I thank you so much for recognizing her talent. And Entangled is just so proud of you.
She's going to want this. We are almost at the end of our newscast, but before we go, we have one final message from 2 special guests. Please welcome this year's RWA President, Diane Kelly, and President-elect, Leslie Kelly.
You know, Leslie, according to that Stanford survey, writers who attend the national conference sponsored by RWA earn more money than those who don't.
That's right. Which means anybody who attends next year's conference in Orlando might just make enough money to buy a one-day, one-park ticket to Disney World. We'll see you in Orlando.
Awesome. And yes, come to Orlando. That does it. We've reached the end, and there's only one thing left to say. Stay classy, San Diego, and good night, RWA.
Come on. Yes, Roxanne, we are here on the coast of Florida, where no one turns the cue cards fast enough.
are getting a little blue sky back here.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be awesome if a dolphin jumped behind me? It's going to be hilarious. Our bits are hilarious. That's not on the blooper.
Almost ready.
The best crime stories always come because the villain is very, very wrong. Apparently, Miss Villanova and the mysterious man in the black leather jacket were spotted in an abandoned apartment building downtown, kissing passionately. Oh, I forgot to read.
Yeah. I don't even know what you guys are talking about. What is TSTL?
I just saw a carriage full of Bridgertons nearly run down a passel of spinsters. No. And then everybody cheers. Good.
Yes, and it gets worse than Scotsman.
Surely. Okay.
And now, over to you, Rocky.